12:33 right now. The city's financial future is looking up, prompting Mayor Eric Adams to reverse the next round of cuts to city agencies and senior programs.
The announcement comes just as the city council is expected to begin budget hearings next month. Joining us this morning to discuss what this means for everyday New Yorkers is First Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright. So, Deputy Mayor, good to see you. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks so much, and good to see you as well.
All right, so let's talk about this. This is the third time, right, that Mayor Adams rolled back his proposed budget cut. So what was the deciding factor, right, when it came to reversing this round of cuts? I asked you once on Picks on Politics. You said you needed a little more time to figure it out. So what changed?
I think what's important to note is that when we came into office, we were really recovering from a really significant pandemic, which now seems like it was a million years ago. And we were really looking at the stimulus cliff. All of that funding was going away. We were looking at whether or not the economy was going to rebound. And we're happy to say and to know that the economy has rebounded. We have more revenue than we anticipated, which is good news. And we were really fiscally responsible in making some cuts that needed to be made, as well as reducing the expenses that we're spending on asylum seekers, which was really an unanticipated budgetary expense that we had to account for. So we've been very, diligent and responsible, and we've been able to really stabilize our financial picture.
Yeah, well, the mayor has been very vocal, blaming the fiscal crisis on the migrant crisis here in the city. So are there cuts there then? Because I think the concern is there's not going to be housing for them. We could see more migrant families on the streets, especially as the weather gets warmer.
Well, I think it's really clear to note that no family has slept on the street. We've had 178,000 people come into our care. Currently, we have about 65,000 people. So 64% of people, through our efforts, intensive case management and support, have made their way on the next leg of the journey. And the mayor has said over and over again, he's committed there will not be any families sleeping on the street. However, we don't have unlimited resources, as we've noted again and again, so we are doing things to really help alleviate the challenges on our budget. And so, yes, in this round, while we're saving agencies from an additional cut, we're also cutting additional expenses from the asylum seeker crisis. So there's an additional 10% cut, and we're renegotiating contracts. We're really looking at all of the ways to save resources. But really, the goal is to really help people move along. They don't want to live in shelter. People want the opportunity to work and move on, and that's the work that we've been doing very successfully.
Yeah, do those cuts look like closing down Creedmoor, for example?
Well, those cuts definitely, housing is the biggest expense, as you noted, and so the ways to really alleviate some of those costs are to look at the contracts, to renegotiate some of them, and to just have a smaller number of people in our care and really helping them move along in their journey.
I do have to ask you this, because the mayor had gone to Albany saying he needed the state to pay for half of the migrant crisis fiscally, right? But when you look at now saying that the budget's okay, does that jeopardize what the ask was in Albany?
Not at all. And the budget is not completely okay. We're not completely out of the woods, but we have stabilized. We're nowhere where we need to be. And I think it's really important to know there's still thousands of people that are arriving every single week, and we cannot anticipate how many people will come. So we do need a framework on how to manage this crisis in partnership with the state, and we'll continue to advocate for that, and we'll continue to partner with the state on that. I'm sorry, my brain here freezing right now. City Council Finance Chair Justin Brannan said that this was never really necessary. What is your response to that? Well, I think it's really important to know that Moody's is not a political entity. It is a rating agency, and they come in and rigorously assess cities, companies, and they've been looking at the city of New York for decades. And they said in the report that they just released that there were real headwinds and real issues, and that were exacerbated significantly by the asylum seeker crisis. They pointed that out specifically. That was unknown and unanticipated. And what they said is that the city really expertly managed our way through this crisis and is stabilized, and we have the highest bond rating that the city has ever had in its history.
Okay.
So, if we want to take kind of politics out of it and just really look at the facts, I think that's an important barometer of how we're doing.
I am going to ask a political question, though, right? Because City Budget Council hearings are coming in a few weeks, and we're saying that it was going to be contentious if the changes weren't made. So were the changes made ahead of this to make it easier to go into the budget hearing and negotiations with the City Council?
No, we've got to run the city. And so it's important for the agencies who actually have to execute and do all the good work, whether it's sanitation or parks or our community youth and development. They need to know now, March is next week. And so they have to plan so that they can execute and provide services to the city. So that we're doing it in a way so that we can effectively run the city. And we partner with the City Council. They have a significant role to play, and we've been, they've been good partners on the budget. We've passed very successful budgets with them collectively, and we plan to do the same this year.
Before we let you go, we do want to ask you one more question. There was a law that would have allowed 800,000 non-citizens, but legal residents, the right to vote. Now, that was ruled unconstitutional after a lawsuit. Now, Republicans are praising the decision, but does the city plan to appeal this again?
I think that decision just came down yesterday, so our law department is reviewing it, and we'll get back with whatever the next step is in that process.
All right, First Deputy Mayor, First Deputy Commissioner, First Deputy Mayor, my gosh, we're both need coffee this morning.
Yes, we
Sheena
are.
Wright, thank you for being with us so early this morning. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dan and Hazel.
All right.
Thanks.